up in that series. The question is, can they have another really strong performance here against Spacestation Gaming, or is it just a completely different contender when it comes to their own home advantage and their own LAN event? We'll find out very shortly. Let's head on over to our cast. We've got Cherished and Gaskin on the mics.
Thanks so much, Lottie. Really looking forward to this one. Our first look at the hometown heroes in Spacestation Gaming up against BitterSweet, who have had a run in the past. When they were in the qualifier, they made sure they got themselves qualified, and last time they couldn't say the same thing. With the Invitational, they had to watch from home, so they managed to get themselves here into the Invitational, and they want to take down the big dogs in Spacestation Gaming.
And they want to make sure that they are getting further than just pool play as well. You don't want to be exiting on day one, you want to be getting into day two, and then maybe they can start thinking about day three if they get a little bit into the dizzy heights. But this is the series layout. Stronghold's live fire to kick off, StelluR Aquarius, CTF Argyle, King of the Hill Recharge, and then StelluR Solitude. I was just saying in the green room earlier, I'd love to see a Game 5 StelluR Solitude 49-49. Don't think it's going to happen in this series, but you never know.
Yeah, but
I'll try and put it out there and try and hope that we might get a Game 5.
Well, as it stands currently in Pool B, SSG won their first game 3-0 against Cruelty, and Native Red already beat BitterSweet. So this is a game in a series that, if you want to progress and you don't want to leave it in the hands of other teams, certainly if you want to get that second seed, this is the sort of game BitterSweet would like to win, but for SSG, they will all but guarantee progression if they win this series here.
A very difficult game to start, though. Strongholds at live fire, and a chance for us to see what SSG can do after we restart the game. Of course, it wouldn't just, wouldn't be a day of Halo with you and I, Shurs, without a quick old restart just to get things going, get the blood moving through the veins, and just get the crowd amped up and ready for this next one.
You're doing some wiggles like you have a hula of some kind.
I wish I did. I wish I did. But BitterSweet, I mean, there's going to be nerves with these guys. I think this is one of those days where they have achieved what they wanted to set out from the qualifiers. They've got into pool play, but now this is the big game. This is against the big dogs. This is against one of the biggest teams in the world. There's our looking, loading, getting ready for this one, and into Stronghold's live fire. Now, Stronghold's live fire can be one of those where it can get a little bit messy, a little bit sporadic at times with the placement of players, and that could bend into the favor of the likes of BitterSweet, who maybe want to keep this one a little bit scrappy. But if Spacestation get control of spawns, if they can get hold of that sniper rifle, start to set up for some of these strongholds, they can make it very difficult for BitterSweet, as already Bound showing why he's one of the best in the game.
3 dead for BitterSweet then. Coach speaks about how this team is structured, particularly so for an AM team. They're going to need to be that and more to topple Spacestation Gaming here. Diagram will get a pick, but StelluR will answer back onto KingJay. Piggy, overshield, popped into the chest. With intentions on pushing C, spawns over towards Mud. Ego's going to go towards B. StelluR will land the body shot. Has the repulsor play, double kill, could make it a triple. Close the distance, and does get the triple with the reversal.
That's one way to put the overshield into full effect. Spacestation weren't able to get hold of it. They didn't really want it. Instead, they took the early points. And now Diagram takes the fight, and it will just be a trade because he missed that initial sniper shot. But one thing that Spacestation are usually pretty good at is control of that overshield. So we'll have to see whether they just give up that first one, but they prioritize a little bit better as the game goes forward. But after the initial engagements between the two teams, BitterSweet doing well to keep this very competitive and actually now find themselves on top.
It was 2 dead apiece for a moment. Cherished is in big trouble here, and somehow against the odds gets a trade with the help of a plasma grenade. Well placed to stick to the body. 1v1 then with Piggy. Piggy comes out on top. Diagram then in another engagement on Dice, and these teams continue to trade. You talked about making it scrappy. BitterSweet doing just that.
Yeah, trades are great for BitterSweet at the moment. Whilst they hold A and C, Spacestation will try and flip A, and I like this from Eco. Retreat from that fight, just stay alive, because now you can watch and just have an A and B hold here. But with Overshield coming up, it gives BitterSweet a decision. Do we go for the OV, or do we try and push for a rotate to take B whilst we have Spacestation over at Overshield?
The desk highlighted Eco before the game started. Not flashy, but effective. Overshield scooped up in the chest now. And what can they do with it? Can they really start to dictate the pace? One goes down, and that will mean heat wave into the hands of the Overshield player. It's double jeopardy then for BitterSweet. And they're almost completely giving it up, and Ego getting information that he has to turn around into a plasma pistol, won't find a home. frying, cooking, sizzling, gets shut down though.
Really worked out well for BitterSweet, though. They did exactly what SSG did at the start of the game. They said, look, we can leave the overshield, let's just get control of B, and then we'll work together to try and ensure that overshield does get taken down. What BitterSweet did better with the overshield was that triple kill that we saw initially from Piggy, whereas Spacestation didn't make their kills count as much. Now Diagram, who gets a double, suddenly puts Spacestation into 3 dead, make it 4 dead, and BitterSweet has started to take control of all of these strongholds.
StelluR spawns up over towards A, as does Bound under the window. This is perfect from BitterSweet. Can they maintain this momentum though? They cannot afford to give SSG a sniff in this game, because they will make you pay. Piggy lands down on 1, StelluR gives him the Shoryuken. 3 dead for BitterSweet.
And I think you're completely right. If SSG do manage to take control, and at times total control, that's when they'll start to really press their advantage and make you struggle a little bit. But BitterSweet have done well to constantly make sure they've always got one. They haven't allowed themselves to go all the way down, but StelluR more than happy to take that fight, wins the engagement. And now B and C in control, and A is being contested.
KingJay almost turning that fight around. StelluR says no, experience wins the day. As he rotates over towards Nest, all quiet towards green. Information then must be that they're heading towards A. Bound overshield, Bound not looking at the overshield just yet, sniper rifle. And heading towards C then. 8 seconds until we do see the overshield being influenced. Both teams rotating that way. StelluR has picked up a double kill in the feed. Piggy's in big trouble. 3 dead then. Cherished will have to just watch this overshield get scooped away. And here comes the collapse. Bound gets touched tight and gets a kill.
This is going to be the big difference maker in this game, is overshield being grabbed when they've got control for Spacestation. It was very different at the start of the game, where one team would have the overshield, the other team would then get control. Spacestation will now have both and will have the chance to try and stay on top here and start to really increase this lead. As A and C in control, B is going to be the next point of contest. Diagram's going to try and hold it on his own, but I tell you what, I respect it from Eco, but maybe he just needs a little bit of help sooner.
Diagram wins the 1v1. It's back-to-back overshields for Spacestation. Both times landed in the hands of Eco. They slowly rise into the ascendancy here.
Was that even who he was looking at?
God knows, it didn't matter. He found a face in the end. It was all instinct. I don't know how he sees with the fringe in his eyes.
It's always a big question, but it seems to work for Bound. As now we'll look over towards Nest, and it'd be another player who just walks straight into the reticle. And this is where it starts to get a little bit worrying for BitterSweet. When you start to go behind by a bit of a chunk, off spawn you start to worry a little bit more. Start to push out one by one, and that will just play into massive favor of Spacestation.
BitterSweet trying to capture A. Spacestation just starting to get some control in this game. Let's have a little window, a little listening, and see how they're communicating.
I'm going up big there.
Yeah, I'm going top. I'm going top.
I have a repulse. I have a repulse.
Yeah, he's killed. Maybe don't.
In B,
Stop that. It's spawn B. They spawn B.
Pillars weak, pillars
I
weak.
see that thing. I see that.
I'm one. Just live, Kevin. You might be able to chill.
OB in 15.
Yo, chubby. No. Why
weak.
Got me.
This guy dice.
Nice job. Nice.
Dice and tires.
Can we get to Zane or no? Yeah, I'm going with Zane.
Nice, Bound. Nice reset, Bound. Or Zane.
Remember.
OB soon, guys.
Back B with a shot. In the tunnel
We
weak.
cut right now, Brayden. To top.
Okay, I'm pushing it out. Pushing it out.
One shot to B. And Shroud.
OB up now.
I have it. One shot to B dead.
We didn't reset it, we didn't reset it.
One shot top mid sniping.
I'm in Keydoor.
Yeah, this last two.
I'm looking white wall.
Nice, Kevin.
Okay,
Top mid, topping.
Could be behind you, Kevin. Be careful. They're gonna be behind Kevin.
One shot in B, we can be last guy.
Okay, yeah, they're all B.
Alright, spawn,
Dummies.
That's the spawn,
One shot, dummies.
Didn't
In
see
C,
one shot.
one shot. I'm leaving it.
Snipe down.
I'm going dummies B. I'm coming.
Nice kill.
Killed the one shot. That's
Yeah,
bridge to C.
I'm
That's
coming
bridge to
mid-cut.
C.
I'm coming mid-cut. There's a Shroud in there.
Stairs there. On me, repulse.
And a guy dies.
I've shot. Just see. Watch see.
And a guy dies.
Just live.
Probably top tower.
Fall mud.
Alright,
I
got
got him from the side. Top mid, kill me.
Look at top mid. One shot in A.
Back up.
Wait, I didn't kill this guy?
Bottom mid, one shot. These pillars.
Elbow weak.
That's good shit.
One shot, dummy door.
There.
Coming to you, Zane. KingJay. Nice. Good job.
Good B. Listen,
Yeah, Zane play ISO for a second. Let's get B.
They're still trying to kill me.
Yeah, top mid.
Yeah, I'm here.
Cut. Cat's weak, I think, guys.
Native bound, native in front of you.
Dummy door to bottom mid.
Bottom mid.
I can look pillars. I'm looking pillars. B.
Amongst the carnage and chaos, it's 3 overshields in a row now for Spacestation. And it is no wonder it has been the reason why they not only have the lead, but it's by such a significant margin now. as BitterSweet just can't handle the pressure at the moment.
Yeah, overshield control, heat wave control, they're moving around the map. You could hear it in the communication as well. They're starting to really glue together as a squad. And that's going to be all 3 strongholds in their control, and now they can start to pinch onto C. They know where the spawners are, they know where the players are. It starts to get more difficult for BitterSweet as this game goes on. Even though it was a really hot start from BitterSweet, this is what Spacestation do so well, is they assess their opposition and they start to get better as the series goes through. At least there's going to be 1 kill that goes in their favor, but it's not going to help BitterSweet get any sort of control right now, as they still find themselves down by over 100 now.
Here is the moment then, if they can just step inside B. Kills are going in their favor. 3 dead for a moment for SSG.
Oh,
Jay tried to get B, but was taken down. Cherished has the overshield. Needs to make moves now. They're running out of time. Score very quickly getting out of hand. The call has come. He gets close with 1. Cherished, though, his overshield gets absolutely obliterated. And just like that, B and C back in control of SSG.
yeah, SSG doing really well just to corner BitterSweet off spawn. All 4 dead yet again. And now this is going to be the final nail in the coffin, you feel. All 3 strongholds in control. The spawn over towards Dummy and back tower. And even though Cherished will get 1, he's taken so much damage, and all that information is being relayed to the rest of SSG as they're on 2-3-2 now, closing in on winning game 1.
It's the subtle things when you watch some of the top players play. Pznguin recognizing he was in a 1v2, maneuvers his body in such a way that he can only get shot by one of those players and wins that fight. And little things like that make the difference as SSG claim game 1. Oh, hold on now. Wait. As SSG claim game 1.
I mean, they were going to have it either way. But SSG, even though it's a slow start, we have to give credit to BitterSweet right at the start. They made it competitive. They were trading off. I mean, Slays-wise, BitterSweet, they were right up there, but it was just when it came to crunch time in some of those setups. Very powerful from Spacestation. They didn't allow BitterSweet to get into any sort of rhythm. I think it was a solid start from BitterSweet, and it's something to build off for them. I don't think they'll be too disheartened, especially going into a Slayer. A lot of their 1v1s, they were still winning, but it was more that teamwork, the objective focus that we saw from Spacestation that truly won them the game.
And that's important that you say that. The initial start, the break, that went BitterSweet's way. They were trading out, but it was when they had to focus on, do we go for hills or prioritize overshield? And it was SSG who just navigated that perfectly time after time.
I think that Spacestation, that's what they do at their very best, at their very core. They play Halo in a very methodical way. Sometimes when the other team is being a little bit messy, a little bit scrappy and all over the place, it just takes them a while to settle things back down, reel it back in, and take control once more. BitterSweet, just like a very aggressive fish on the end of that line. They made it difficult to start with, but in the end, they had to succumb to the fishing line. And now for Spacestation, as they move into game number 2, they will be calm. The nerves should be settled. I know they're not usually a squad that shows nerves, but I think there's always going to be that extra something when you're the hometown team.
Are you saying it's Fisherman 1, Fish 0? Is that what you're saying?
It is, and often is. But maybe you just need to get a bigger fish, or be a bigger fish, as there is always a bigger fish, as a wise man once said.
That's a great line. Game 2 on the horizon though, Dan. Aquarius Slayer. And is there good news on the horizon for the boys in pink in BitterSweet? Or is this to be a 2-0 advantage, do you feel?
I think that Spacestation traditionally are very good at Aquarius Slayer, mainly because of how StelluR plays and how they work in tandem as a unit. StelluR will be running around bottom middle, he finishes things off, he is just listening to call-outs, and it's so annoying to watch, let alone play against. And I think you've got to look at what this Spacestation roster has to offer. I mean, when you look at Bound and how impressive he's been across the entire season, he has been close to, if not one of the MVPs. If it weren't for the fact that they finish second so often, he would probably be up there with the discussion more often. On the other side, we're looking at Cherished to maybe make a big difference here going into game number 2. But I do think this is one of SSG's better maps and modes, so this is going to be a tough one for BitterSweet.
2 players on your screen, no doubt. Spotlight shines brightest on them here. An expectation in the Slayer for them to be the ones to be the difference maker. Cherished and Bound, as they so often get the job done for their team here. And Spacestation Gaming looking down at the possibility of a 2-0 series lead, and BitterSweet desperately trying to keep themselves in touch and distance here.
And a Slayer always does give the underdog a little bit of an opportunity, and BitterSweet know that. They'll know that this is where, if anywhere, they can break through the armor of SSG. However, if they fall, if this goes to 2-0, then they start to look at what's happened already on the main stage today and what so often does happen in pool play when you're going up against the biggest team in your pool is a 3-0 potentially being on the cards. BitterSweet need to show us now that they are here to play in Salt Lake City.
Opening engagements are going to be so important. Can Cherished get away? The answer is no. Hunted down by Eco. And StelluR clambers top middle, gets tagged up a little bit from the car side and has to just give up the high ground for now. As Diagram will finish up the touches on that kill. 3-3. KingJay with the quantum translocator scoops himself away. Dips, dodges, ducks and dives.
Now he knows where it's going to be. It's bottom car where he sets the portal to use if he needs it. But of course the other team can see where that is as well if they've spotted it either from that death cam or from the player who was originally chasing him. It might not even come into effect. I'm always at the point when I've got the quantum that as soon as that red bar starts to go down, I get trigger happy. I just want to hit it. I'm like, I want to use it one more time. As it's quite fun, but an 8-4 lead for BitterSweet. A fantastic start, and I think one of the keys to victory here for BitterSweet is to match StelluR bottom middle. Match Spacestation. Don't allow them to have too much free roam of the map.
KingJay tried to scamper away. He had a player that was down to half shields, but tried to prioritize staying alive. Spacestation ensured that would not be something that would come to fruition. 2 dead. The boys in pink and black. It's 3 dead for Spacestation for a moment. Eco trying to stay alive in the connector here. KingJay tries to close the distance, help on hand. Spawns come through on the car side. It's a 3 kill, making a 4 kill game at the moment, but this is perfect for BitterSweet.
BitterSweet keeping this fast pace. Don't allow it to slow down. Keep Spacestation constantly having to check their backsides and make sure they're not being pushed, as Cherished should be able to get away, but now needs to call that out to a teammate. Being a nuisance is so important here on Aquarius, and Cherished is doing just that. If you can just distract everyone, if you can move everyone away and say, let's not look at the players who are actually doing damage to us, but the players we're trying to damage, it changes everything.
Well, Spacestation find themselves down by 6. Let's have another listen and see how they're navigating things.
2v2.
One shot P2, blue side. Dead.
Shot, nice. Good
You
shot.
want Piggy weak?
Blue car jump.
KingJay's
Give
going.
me a comment.
Blue car jump really weak, and yeah, blue P jump as well. Blue car jump, I don't know where
Go
you're
for the rest. I'm going for the rest.
There's a guy blue P,
Blue fridge.
and blue car.
Blue fridge and car 2. Blue fridge and car
One
2.
shot blue closet.
I hear that. I'm looking blue closet. Looking car 2.
I got one.
Looking car 2.
That's blue.
I'm blue. And front yellow. Going car 1. Car 1 right now. Yellow car jump.
Quick, with the thrust.
QT weak. Yep. 2 car 1. Same spot. Nice. 2 dead.
Start spawn shot.
Yes. Diagram just spawned. I'm going up top pink.
Yo, he's blue flag on me.
Okay, I'm going top pink.
Flag,
I'm pushing front blue. Yes. Is there gonna be fridge maybe?
I have QT. I just got shredded. I got shredded. Blue shrimp.
Yeah, blue tunnel.
3 here, Braden.
Nice.
Got one.
Two more.
Flanking.
I'm dead as fuck.
I
I got a melee. On the shrooms. One shot coming up.
Watch out.
Window, I think.
We front blue right there. Watch out
Front
blue.
shrooms. Front shrooms. Two dead.
Nice.
I definitely blue into blue pistol.
Two. Good looking. I got one. Melee high.
One shot.
Nice job.
Alright, we're down 5. Blue glass. Blue car glass.
Yep,
Blue car glass.
Keep living.
Blue thrust 10.
I'm one shot in the closet.
Maybe.
P1 to P2. P1 to
Guys, keep running together. You guys run the map.
I'm in the base. They're gonna be blue fridge.
They went to yellow. They went yellow.
Blue fridge.
Behind us, top car. Or some shit. I'm going P1 bound.
P1 weak. P1 one shot. Blue.
Thrust me.
Look at yellow P on you.
I think I'm good. I think they went car, guys. Yeah, on nades right now. Raid, no help.
I'm coming car 3.
Yo, yellow fridge, Cherish.
Yellow closet as well. Weak.
Yellow fridge going top yellow. P1 to front yellow and top pink from yellow side.
One of mine.
Shot P1, one shot P1
yellow. Watch out yellow engine. One shot front yellow. He's yellow shrimp. One shot.
QT and 5.
And car 1. And car 1.
I can't change that. Sorry.
Let's go. Car 1. Pushing out car.
When we were last talking to you, the deficit was 5. Now 4. Not much has changed on that front. Spacestation still chasing this game. Communication remains calm. You can hear Elamite calling out the power-ups, but it mattered not as Piggy has just scooped it up. And now threatening to move front base. Spacestation trying to slow this one down. Baits BitterSweet in to some traps that have been set up. And at the moment, BitterSweet hunting in a pack, but chasing shadows.
This is such a big moment for BitterSweet and their tournament, you feel, to try and take a map off of Spacestation. It would be massive for them, but you've always got to hold into account the possibility of Spacestation getting back into this game. But at the moment, the grenades are good. BitterSweet are doing so well at just keeping Spacestation at bay, and Eco just having to wait now Spacestation try and slow this down, but look, here comes the push. BitterSweet pressing their advantages, running as a unit at the moment. And Spacestation just weren't quite ready for it.
Cherished drops front brick. More shots in the back from Diagram. Beautiful. And it's guerrilla warfare tactics. Get a kill, get out. They almost have a 10-kill lead here. This is the same thing they've done to Optic. They've won the Slayer. And they've been more than impressive in this game. Up against the second seed in Space Station. Getting the better of it here. Only requiring 7. What do Space Station have in the tank?
Few kills going in the way of Space Station, though. They're still down by 7. It's not over yet, and I think that both teams know that, and that's why the game has hit a little bit of a standstill at times, but Pznguin getting one onto KingJay makes it 6. A good trade, though, from Cherished and Piggy to make it now 5 required for BitterSweet, make it 4. And they're doing really well at speeding things up when they get the opportunity to do so, BitterSweet, and now they're only 3 away. So Space Station, even though try as they might to slow it down, BitterSweet just keep pressing.
Seems like a matter of when, not if. BitterSweet will get the final 2 kills here and tie up the series. And what a confidence booster that will be for a team that had to run through the open bracket last event. Eco picks up 2, but is it too little too late?
6 kill difference, 2 required. As again, you can feel the nerves and you can feel it slow down once more, but a fantastic opportunity for Jay here. Maybe just to catch out a couple of players, as now 1 more goes down. It's just 1 kill required for BitterSweet. It'll be a huge map win for them.
Eco turns tail, must be down to no shield. StelluR on hand, and Eco does fall. And there's 1 solo scream across the BitterSweet side of the desk. They're vibing, they're feeling it. They want to make a real fist of this series.
A huge win for them. Get some confidence under their belts and just say, we are here to play. This is not going to be a simple series. And to do it against Space Station, a team that are usually so on fire when it comes to pool play, very rarely drop those maps, very rarely make those mistakes. But BitterSweet, they just had so much control. They didn't allow the freedom that Space Station maybe perhaps used to when it comes to Aquarius Slayer. A lot of quantum translocators that went in their favor as well. As we look at the kills, deaths, assists, and all the stats, and it was Diagram who picked up the plaudits when it comes to 15 kills. But a little bit of a struggle for Space Station, not used to seeing that happen on Aquarius.
Well, all pretty consistent on the side of Space Station, all finishing in and around -1 and 2. But on the other side, pods, like you say, have to go to Diagram, and indeed, KingJay, 12, 9, and 6 assists. So they stepped up. We talked about Cherished, we hyped him up before the game, but it was actually KingJay and Diagram making the difference. And as you can see, Diagram with over 4K, leading the lobby in damage.
I think everyone played their part from BitterSweet, and it didn't seem like they were too fazed by the fact they lost that initial map as well. Right from the get-go, they were still in the face of Space Station, confidently taking 1v1s, and what really impressed me is when they had like about a 6 to 7 kill lead, a lot of teams maybe would have matched the pace of Space Station and said, okay, well, if they're slowing it down, we'll just let them come to us. They didn't. They tried to dictate the pace themselves. They started to get aggressive, running as a unit, and just made sure they were trading things out. And they always kept that kind of 5-6 kill lead, and Space Station were never really able to rescue it. It's what happens now on Aquarius. Without the camouflage, it's a very different map, and sometimes it's not as easy to get back into, because there isn't that pause moment of, okay, if we just play for the camo, win 1 fight, get the camouflage, then you can snowball. It doesn't really happen the same with the quantum translocator.
Quick sidebar. Looking at the stats, we've seen the call signs for every player. Bound currently has his set as Ares. If I'm not mistaken, now I'm prepared to be mistaken. Ares is the god of war, I want to say. So he's ready to win a championship by the sounds of things.
Either that or he's just paying homage to the pro team.
My thing's
back
more,
at 343 Studios.
my thing's more fun.
2 ways to look at it. Is TTF Argyle is going to be map number 3 here, and now capture the flag. Been pretty good for Space Station. For BitterSweet, it was a hit and miss when it came to Arlington. So Space Station should feel more comfortable, but I still feel like Argyle is a question mark for a lot of squads at the moment. I don't feel like anyone's really found the perfect way to play it. And then we suddenly lose the camouflage and we get the QT added, and you got an entirely new meta, an entirely new way of playing this map. It is so hard to get that flag from one side to the other, especially now without a camouflage to give you the hand.
Quantum Translocator completely changes the complexion of what you need to win a game. Previously, the camouflage, you could pick up the flag and almost run silently through the night till you got to about half map. Things have changed. You need to have complete control, and not only slay the team to get into their base, but slay on the way back as well, because it's so easy to overextend.
A lot of angles, you can just kind of dipsy-doodle your way out of fights, avoid a lot of the sight lines, and of course, sniper rifle going to be absolutely massive, as it always is here on Argyle. And whoever does have that right off the rip, a lot of responsibility to not only take some faces of the other team, but also be well aware of where the other sniper's going to be, as Pznguin drops bottom middle and will finish off the damage that has been done elsewhere.
Diagram just dropped bottom middle, and there's a rail of bullets raining down upon him. And StelluR has that sniper rifle you spoke about. He's looking to have a heavy influence on what way this game swings. His teammate Pznguin going down, and Piggy. There's a Pznguin and a Piggy on the same map. It's the HCS, not a zoo at the moment.
Good angle being taken at the moment from StelluR as well. But I think that's perfectly played from Piggy and from BitterSweet. It's going to be a double as well. All 4 members were temporarily down, but the spawn back flag is just going to catch Piggy off guard. Had it been a sniper spawn, could have been slightly different, but Spacestation still being pinned back here. And KingJay is going to be at the helm with the sniper rifle just to try and spot out any sort of players.
KingJay trying to conduct a flag pull, get something on the move. Unfortunately, they get towards the base, 3 fall. And just like that, numbers flip and the map will reset once more. Piggy on the pistol, will engage with Eco, who will trade damage and give it up. Expert plays from the experienced Eco. Dips away, will live to fight another day. And it's so even at the moment. Neither team really being able to control the game. BitterSweet looking good in moments, but not able to apply the finish touches to get on flag on the move.
It's one of those maps as well where sometimes you can benefit from just kind of hiding for a short while, waiting around a corner, lurking, getting a back smack, and then suddenly you have that player advantage, and then you start to push up, and then you can begin controlling those spawns. But because the spawns often are so close to the flag, you can really just get destroyed by those grenades, which makes it all about timing, all about when you get that 4 dead. You need someone in that base to get that flag pull as soon as that 4th player really goes down, as Bound is hitting shots with a sniper rifle to keep Spacestation alive here, really, as BitterSweet. They had managed to take a few down, and KingJay is going to get caught off guard here, and Bound shoot! Oh boy!
Oh no.
KingJay lets him know.
I think if I hit that shot, there's not a player in the arena, not a person in the state that doesn't hear about it. Eco taking out the no shields. KingJay really starting to heat up here, hitting some shots, cracking some shields, and Pznguin elsewhere though finds the face of his teammate Cherished. Here comes the collapse, here comes the push. Can KingJay stand strong? Plants his feet, tries to find the face of one, has to give it up. Flag has been pulled, Cherished back base will have to do something here to stop this flag. Bound will fall, Quantum Translocator is used, and Pznguin will live the fight for another moment. Sniper rifle again. Flag already out. Danger signs here for BitterSweet.
Flag out, and more importantly, the Quantum was right on top of that flag as well, so Eco was able to get that pull and also a double kill on top of it. It's the other way you can get flag caps here, is you pull it whilst you're slaying. You don't have to wait for 4 dead as long as you can move and slay at the same time, but it's still difficult to achieve. As you can see, BitterSweet have done well to just keep Spacestation at arm's length away, and this flag should just be dead now. Eco's going to have one last-ditch attempt at it, might be able to get a touch to keep it alive, will do so. And if I'm BitterSweet here, I want to get this returned ASAP, but it's very difficult when nades are starting to come your way.
Spacestation forced to give it up. BitterSweet, perfect momentum killer there when things look to be going awry. Diagram, up into the vent then. Looking to cut off the oxygen for Bound. Down to no shields, expertly trying to stay alive, and for a moment milked it for a couple of shots from a teammate to come through, but Diagram lives. He's going to be the focal point here, the first point of contact. Whether it be Pznguin or Eco, excuse me, it will be Eco who has the translocator. And he's put Vent as the initial spawn point if he chooses to TP backwards. Diagram will have that information, so if he disappears, they know exactly where he's gone.
And sometimes you can wait for it, you can bait, you can get grenades ready once they've teleported back, but Eco just putting it in a place where it's not as easy to be catching you out. And our Spacestation looking to try and push up here. Good sniper shot, which should be able to stop the push ever so slightly on that side. But all the meanwhile, flag starts getting pulled. Spacestation have lost 3. And again, I think this is going to be another dead flag. So BitterSweet are really kind of sitting back, and absorbing this pressure at the moment, which is all well and good, but you're inviting that pressure as well. They need to now start being the ones who are getting aggressive and looking to pull a flag of their own.
So far, the tail of the tape is BitterSweet have been under siege for large portions of the game. They need a player of Cherished caliber to really up his game here. Currently struggling with 3 and 9. We can pick up a couple of more kills, but as I say that, a couple of deaths go the way of BitterSweet. His diagram will even the odds for now. Down to no shields, and StelluR's chasing this in hot pursuit, not giving it up, and will drop the sniper rifle, but the flag's on the move.
Yeah, Spacestation again trying to run the flag as they go, and if you can get it past this point, if you can get it into that long haul, there's always an opportunity of just being able to slowly but surely work it back into your base. But BitterSweet again have done well at making sure it does not get past the point of no return, and they hold off again.
For all the pressure Spacestation have put down, they have nothing to show for it here. And BitterSweet could be about to score a flag cap of their own against the run of play here. Pznguin down to half shields. Tries to live bottom cuts. Bottom connector. Piggy picks one up. Is there anybody in position? Cherished still has a flag.
Do anything with it here, shows, because Cherished was in the area, does get the kill, but the flag gets sent back, and that's going to be enough just to reset things here. If he had got a touch, if there was an extra second there, then maybe there was an opportunity for BitterSweet to get a flag, but now Spacestation reset, now Spacestation push out, now BitterSweet go 2 dead, and we are right back to where we started.
Spacestation have to maintain composure and focus here, because one little slip like that, and BitterSweet could steal this game away. Translocator picked up once more, this time by StelluR, as he pushed up towards elbow. He seems to be having this spot on the map on lockdown, knew exactly where the sniper rifle was. 2 bullets to play with. Diagram will be handled. Piggy backstairs as he continues to jiggle peek, trying to stay alive, get as much information for his team as he can. And here comes StelluR. Sniper rifle will find the body, there was no doubt. Cherished immediately turns tail and ducks away, as does Diagram. That QT will finally be used. Cherished could be the first point of contact here for StelluR. And all of a sudden, BitterSweet are in big trouble.
Cherished has to do a lot here to try and stay alive, but he has done enough to kill the initial player with that flag. So again, it will slow it down. It's a different route this time for Spacestation, but they are still moving it, and they've got it further than they did last time. That could be a huge stick. Killing spree, and he stays alive. This is SSG's biggest chance of getting a flag.
That's a sticky grenade off the backboard. I'll tell you something, this game has been hectic. And is the communication the same? Let's have another SSG listen in.
Last guy, on repost, 1 shot. Arnido's 1 shot.
All dead, all dead.
Nice job. Everyone push up, everyone push up, everyone push up.
Also up. Let's get them.
I can probably get that. I can probably get that when I
Yeah,
catch.
their basement to their elbow, weak. Basement's really weak. Watch out the basement.
Yeah, you should, Britain.
Another flag, another
Yo,
flag.
our P-door, their P-door weak. To their 50, 2 there. Getting our grapple,
Watch out the back flag, watch out the back flag. Watch out their
snipes
list.
now.
I'm playing for their side.
What's gonna be the grapple? One shot.
Right, do you need help?
They're banded,
Maybe
they're
our
banded,
PCs,
they're
maybe our
banded.
PCs.
Here comes in.
Got you. Nice. Blue in. Or Britain.
Can't fucking see this guy.
On QT, go on their
Watch
vent.
out the vent, watch out the vent.
And our snipe, kill me. Go on S3, KingJay.
Yeah.
He doesn't know you there, Britain. He doesn't know you there. Good grapple as
On me, I
well.
think.
Should be on you.
Grappling towards me. Right here, right here.
Just
They're
the
up.
QC it up with the vent, the vent.
their window, their window.
Watch out the vent, wick their vent.
Their
Watch out
window
the
weak.
vent.
Here, their vent.
I can help you, man.
Hey, their vent.
To their pistol. One's their vent, one's their coming our PCs.
Two
Yeah,
around
one's
me,
not
guys.
mid, one's not mid.
Trying to come our PCs breach. Two are PCs.
I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you.
One is a QT.
One shot, and I'm our danger, I think.
Hey, there's in. I'm here.
One shot my X, one shot my X. I did get a
One shot our
mid.
PCs, one shot our
Two are
PCs.
PCs weak, two are PCs weak.
There's one RP door.
One shot.
RP, one shot RP, one shot
Their
RP.
vent.
Last guy, last guy.
Let's get their vent, yep.
Nice.
Push ups in, push
Our
ups in.
grapple's up in 10. Everyone stay
We
on
get when we
that.
die.
1-0 lead then for SSG as we head into the latter stages of this game. StelluR has been pulling off a madness time and time again. A double kill he picked up a moment ago. How and why and who and how and all the questions.
For Spacestation now, they can basically do what BitterSweet were doing to them. They can just sit back, they can wait, they can play on the defense, but it looks like they want more. They want to try and sew this game up and not allow BitterSweet a chance to get back into it. Now, it may force BitterSweet to play a little bit more aggressive. They were certainly turtling up. Thank you very much. I'll take that. That's one way to get it halfway across the map. As again, Spacestation just showing a little bit of initiative here to make sure that that flag keeps moving.
Beautiful grenade banked off the floor by Bound. Spins up and completely strips the shields of one. And like you say, SSG have the option to park the bus, if you will, now. They can completely play defense and invite the pressure on. With 2 minutes and change left on the clock, it is BitterSweet who are forced to have the initiative, forced to be the aggressor.
I mean, we see Argyle CTF end at 1-0 so often now, especially with the lack of camouflage, as 3 members of BitterSweet go down. And again, it's a chance for Spacestation just to take some map control. You could hear it from Coach Elam in the comms, just saying, hey, let's take map control now, even though we've got the flag. Let's just keep this one nice and tidy. Speaking of tidy, Eco has a QT just to dance away from this one. Off the map, back up we go, and he's safe for now.
Eco has them on strings at the moment. 2 members of BitterSweet were trapped back base. KingJay has got the sniper rifle in hands. And he's been surgical with it all game long. Gets a kill. Can he lock in 2? The answer's no. Shut down once more. And again, the sands of time dwindle away as Pznguin locks in a double kill.
Thought about looking to maybe make it more, but with 1 minute left now, this is where Spacestation just need to be sitting back and asking the question of BitterSweet, what have you got? How are you going to try and break through this? Build a wall and then hope that the opposition cannot knock it down. Piggy gets the opener, so this is going to be their best chance now for BitterSweet. Pznguin does at least take one with him. And you'd have to say, BitterSweet, it would need to be an all 4 dead realistically, and keeping plenty of healthy players up themselves if they're going to get a flag pull here.
It was 2v2 on the map for a moment. BitterSweet do have numbers advantage, but don't have players in position to really capitalize on it. Eco making himself a really difficult kill here, taking up a really unorthodox position. With diagram position over towards screens, Cherished in a 1v1, Eco will get shut down, 2 dead. And maybe it's not over yet if they can get a flag pull in the next 14 seconds or so.
It's just going to be so difficult to do so because now SSG can just position themselves in a way where they watch that flag. 3 go dead, and Spacestation with only 5 seconds left. They know this game's done. They're going to be leading 2-1, and the Slayer was just a slip-up. Spacestation Gaming regain the lead here in this series.
Well. Couple of minor hiccups. A wobble and a falter. In large parts, BitterSweet playing extremely well and making this one a difficult task. But importantly, Spacestation still secure the win.
I think BitterSweet match up pretty well in terms of individual fights, in terms of their skill level. I mean, they're right up there in terms of actually knowing how to play the game and how to take some of these fights. I think the key difference was a mentality thing. BitterSweet were always on the back foot. They were always stopping SSG from pulling a flag. Very rarely were they thinking about pulling a flag of their own. It was only once when it was potential for a counter that they actually thought about getting that flag on the move. And I think that's just a matter of being a team a little bit less than Spacestation. You know, these SSG boys have been playing together for the longest of time now. They know each other's insides and outs.
Well,
take that as you will.
I'd rather not take it anyway. But it comes down to confidence, right? Because for BitterSweet, the moment is they're playing not to lose as opposed to trying to win. And that's what that looked like in that last game when they were getting kills going in their favor. They only got 1 or 2 flag grabs and never really looked like punching it home.
It's almost like they weren't allowed to, they weren't given the chance to, because Spacestation were always pushing their advantage and always stepping over that halfway line. I think it was only right at the start where there was a few kills that went in favor of BitterSweet that Spacestation were on the back foot. But after they had rescued the map back, they had control for the majority. And you could say the same about map number 1. BitterSweet were great off the start, but as we got further into it, Spacestation learned the tendencies, and Spacestation then started to really deliver the pain in certain areas of the map. It may have taken them longer they would have liked to get a flag cap, but they still win it nonetheless. And now we head over to King of the Hill Recharge. So we didn't see these teams play on it back in Arlington, but Spacestation traditionally have always been quite good at King of the Hill.
And also quite good at Recharge, which is the worrying thing here if you're a BitterSweet fan. But for the hometown crowd, they'll be quite happy to know that this is a game type that Spacestation can be favorites on.
Very much the favorites on. BitterSweet are going to have to dig deep. Yes, they've done well in terms of their slays and their individual fights, but when it comes to knowing how to rotate around this map, where to hold, it's going to be slightly different going up against a team who have been so good at King of the Hill. Now, camouflage back on the map, of course. We're not going to be swapping that out for a quantum translocator here on Recharge, so still a chance to get sneaky and still a chance to put it to full effect.
We're underway then. Game 4. A Space Station 1 game away from securing the series and going 2-0 in pools. Penguins picked up the sniper rifle. He's going to sit in the hill and milk for as long as possible until some sort of pressure comes his way. Piggy on triple stacks, down to half shields, will take the fight with the camouflage player and has done enough to back him out of the hill. Bound on hand to get the kill onto Piggy, but Cherished will answer back with one of his own. KingJay over towards glass, forced and back down all the way towards long haul. And patience personified is Penguin right now.
Penguin back to try and attempt to milk. Milking as much as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but it's only got that about halfway so far, so BitterSweet have done well just to at least stop the bleeding for now, as KingJay won't manage to get a kill onto Bound. And I really do appreciate what Space Station do and how quick they are to react to these callouts. You can see there the grenades coming through as soon as Bound does that initial damage, and they're a team who just have so much trust in one another to finish off those kills.
KingJay gets a big double kill. Now they can start to influence the spawns themselves. Jay, with a little bit of help from his friends, will get one, but Penguin will combine with Eco to get a trade. Penguin will fall, but all the meanwhile is SSG, who's standing the hill, and his two members faced up with Bound. Shoulders back, he gets the kills.
Line them up and knock them down, and now Space Station should get the first point on the board, which they will as we move up now to top stairs. And even though this is a slightly more difficult hill to hold than it once was, Space Station are in the best chance, well, they were in the best chance to try and get the early points on the board. This is good from Bound. He didn't just step foot in the hill to try and get a little bit of time. Instead, he started to search around, see what the lay of the land was like and where BitterSweet were going to be pushing from.
And you can see the play call came to Bound. Push gold. Do not let them gain any free territory on the map. Do not let them push long haul onto C plat. But at the moment, Penguin's being pressurized. And he falls. Bound has grapple. As he ascends towards gold, swings in, clears out top gold, and KingJay will have to watch his teammates from the respawn screen be some sort of factor here to stop all this pressure, all this momentum that seems to be all one-way traffic.
Just avoids the grenade to Bound, and now he's got an angle where he can watch with the shock here. Time still being gathered. He'll patrol top gold and he'll own top gold because they're going to be a little bit worried about pushing that lane. It's a difficult lane to push against a shock because it's so easy to line up and get that headshot level. This is the first, but still connects enough to pick up, but Piggy was there to get the trade. That's important for BitterSweet. You have to be trading out here. The Space Station still hold a good lead on this second hill. Let's see you later, Jay.
It's a splish splash for Jay. He's taking a bath, and you don't want players falling off the map. Please keep all arms and legs inside the map at all times, please, folks. Eco will combine with two of his teammates. The collapse comes through. They're clearing out long haul. Eviction notices are being served, and they continue to score here.
Cherished gives away the spawn, so now Space Station will know where they need to be looking. Cherished does well to do a lot of damage, though, and will be a small distraction as Eco has to back away and has to just recharge those shields. So it's a good little break from BitterSweet. I thought it was going to be a little bit worrying, but they give themselves a good chance now at setting up because 3 went down from Space Station. But because they've got so much time on the board, it means that StelluR can play in a way to just try and be a nuisance here.
BitterSweet continued to get kills, but they're taking so much damage in the engagements that the fresh spawners was able to get a quick and easy cleanup, and they can't really string anything together. Opportunity now, though. Two down for Space Station, as KingJay has toes in the hill. He steps out, and they're spawning over towards long haul, so this is exactly where BitterSweet wants Space Station for the moment. Cherished gets caught unawares, shock rifle in the hands of Bound. Cherished gonna look to bite off more than he can chew here, as Bound shuts him down.
Bound does re-peek there. I mean, arguably could have stayed alive, but I think he saw in the kill feed that players were going down and hoped that maybe eyes were trained elsewhere. But the second point goes in for Space Station. Just as BitterSweet were trying to avoid some of that gunfire, one of them just snuck on in, toes in the hill, and got those points. And now they're scoring yet again because they've got elevator control, and BitterSweet just have to continue to look to break. Similarly to the CTF game, it's BitterSweet often on the back foot looking to break rather than the team often setting up.
Penguin gets one. Diagram answers back, but Bound elsewhere again. 3 dead. KingJay's all alone on White Wall here in Whirlpool. Plasma pistol won't connect, and that's the way this game has been going. that one play, plasma pistol shot missing, that's been BitterSweet's game so far.
Yeah, this should be a 3rd point realistically for Spacestation. BitterSweet probably know it as well, and it's almost accepting defeat and starting to think about that 3rd hill, but they've done very well just to press their advantage and take them out of it while they still can. 3 do go down here. But you have to feel like it's maybe a little bit too late. Elevator is one of those ones where once you get so close, all it takes is one push to then wrestle this back and get this 3rd point on the board.
How important it was for Eco to live there. Get a kill, 2 members of BitterSweet around him. He manages to get gold pipe spawn for his team, and they lock in hill number 3. This is what we talk about Eco being special.
Camo's coming up as well, and it should be Space Station's easy as you like. Diagram gets caught unaware, and it's going to be 2 members going down for BitterSweet. 2 minutes and 30 on the clock. Even if BitterSweet were to start playing lights out here, the clock is now against them. And Space Station are slowly but surely trickling towards a 3-1 victory in this series.
Pznguin last man standing with camouflage. Needler in hand. Diagram tries to clear his corners, but manages to make the most of that. Great kill from him. And is that the opportunity then? Is that a moment back into the game? Can they capitalize on that? All 4 members of Space Station spawning towards gold. They're exactly where they need to be to collapse on long haul. Cherished is in big trouble. Damage is being done by KingJay though. Hold on a moment. Perhaps BitterSweet have something in the tank. Maybe they can throw one last drunken haymaker here in this 4th map. Piggy though in big trouble, and again, Space Station on top.
But that's the thing, BitterSweet have got plenty in the tank, and they've done very well at keeping this series competitive, and have looked very good. I'm actually very excited to see where BitterSweet go throughout this tournament. However, Space Station are just that good at punishing you as soon as you show any sort of weakness, as soon as there's any sort of gap. Space Station will certainly be there to fill it. And now they can start to look to try and make this 4. Now, a lot of teams might just decide to play time here, but Space Station decide that the best effect actually is to hold on to this hill and really take the game to BitterSweet as Jay's gone again.
Jay, hello? Stay on the map, please. We have to get him some armbands and maybe some sort of head cover as well to protect him when he's down in the water, because he's not having a good time down there. Spartans. White men can't jump down. Spartans can't swim, it seems.
A last-ditch effort from Cherished does win it. 3 dead for Space Station, and hill will be controlled. So it has to be now for BitterSweet. Not only do they need to score off of this setup, in my opinion, but they also need to be making sure they are in an area to try and get bottom middle. Because that camouflage is about to spawn, and then you can push towards that 5th hill over towards Turbine. But it's going to be so difficult when Space Station are just going to be setting up around it.
Camouflage was scooped up, and I think it was Piggy who picked it up, but I could be telling you lies. As he shimmers away and combines with KingJay to get a kill. Eco steps in, eats a grenade, manages to survive. Not only that, pushes the camouflage player and KingJay all the way back. Pznguin in hot pursuit secures the kill for his team. And with 1 minute and 5 left on the clock, even if BitterSweet get this hill, time is very much against them.
Yeah, 2 very difficult hills to hold that come up afterwards as well, and I think that BitterSweet probably know where this one is going, but they're still going to go down fighting here, go down swinging, but it's still Space Station who hold on.
Seconds away for Space Station to secure the series. 3-1 the final score, and they will go 2 to the good in pools.
And that'll be enough to progress, of course, but will they top the group or not? That's going to be the biggest question that we will get answered later on today. But it was job done against BitterSweet. On the flip side, for BitterSweet, they showed enough to me that they could be a team that certainly could be competitive around that top 12, top 8 maybe, if they start to play at their very best. I still think they have a great opportunity of getting out of this pool, so I don't think it will be too detrimental a loss for them. But it's always a very difficult one when you've had that win, when you get that Slayer under your belt and you start to believe, okay, maybe we can be that team that does cause the upset. But Space Station's so clinical and so decisive in their way of how they approach Halo that it's so difficult to go against them.
Taking a look at the Carnage report, it was Eco and indeed Bound with 19 kills apiece, and Pznguin wasn't too far behind with 18. But as you can see on the slays, BitterSweet were able to pick up kills as well, but just not at the right time, just not the valuable ones that they needed.
Yeah, kills weren't a problem for them. I think that was evident throughout the entire series, and that's what I was kind of harping on about, is that as a team, they look pretty good, BitterSweet. Individually, they are matching up impressively, but it's just when it comes down to those kind of minor details, those extra little bits of where you're pushing and where you're holding and doing that objective work. I think it's exciting times for a team that is still growing and developing as BitterSweet, but ultimately we learn that Spacestation still in good form and still looking like one of the best teams that we have at this tournament.
Another sidebar. I talked about Ares and Bound and the call sign and all that.
Yep.
That's good stuff. Eco's changed his call sign now.
What's that to?
Zeus.
Okay, yeah, now we're starting to see something that's evident. There is clearly a pattern. I don't know a Zeus on the pro team, so maybe you were onto the right track, yeah.
Well, all I do know is Ares is down there with our boy Blaze with an interview. Take it away.